So this is just a little addendum to the previous video I put out, but you might be asking yourself, if Crownlink doesn't cause desyncs, why does it feel like there are more desyncs than there used to be? Right? It feels like we see them a lot more often, especially on Saturdays, than we had in the past. And one thing that I would say is, of course, there's always the opportunity for coincidence to cause things like that. There were a lot of updates to Cause Monarchy about the same time that Crownlink came out. But also, Crownlink has enabled much larger games than before, and larger games have a much higher chance of desyncing. And I'll tell you why. If you think about each game as kind of a node, right? If you have two players, right? If two players like this, then what's going to happen is each game that you play, or rather each turn that you play, has one chance of a desync happen. Right? There's one chance that the information relayed between these two parties is interpreted incorrectly by one side, and it leads to a desync. Now, if you have three players, then all of a sudden that chance is now 3 times per turn, right? And it's not that the network connections are increasing the chance here, but rather the number of peers, just so we're kind of clear on that. And if we think about increasing that to 4 times, right, and you can kind of get the idea here of what's going on here. If we have 4 times, now all of a sudden we have quite a bit more, right? We have, let's see, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different chances for a desync to occur on each individual turn. Right, so you have all of these 6 opportunities for that desync to occur, and as you can see, it's kind of exponential, right? Because each node or each user, each client is going to have to send their game state to more and more clients as the number of users or number of players increases. We can actually graph this. So we think about players. Obviously, we won't have 1, but if we go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we can't do 9 either. Okay, so up to 8 players. And keep in mind, Radman was primarily played with 2, sometimes 3 players, right? That was by and large what we used Radman for. Now, with 2 players, we already talked about there's 1 interaction per turn that has a chance to cause a desync. So I'm just going to say syncs per turn, right? And we already talked about 3 is 3, and then 6, and then 10, and 15, 21, 28. These are actually what are called triangle numbers. So if you're curious, it's kind of like a factorial, but with addition instead of multiplication. But that's how many synchronizations you have per turn that have a chance of causing a desync. And obviously that grows very quickly as you increase the number of players in the game. So if we think about this for a second as potentially the turns in an average game. Let's say an average game is, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. So turns per, so let's say turns per game. So that's going to be 20 minutes times 60 seconds times 8 turns per second. Right? So 96,000 turns. Or 9,600 turns, rather. All right, so let's think about how this shakes out. If we give it, let's say chance of desync. Let's set this somewhere really small, right? Let's put chance of desync as 0.00001. Right, it's a pretty small chance. Let's say there's that chance of desync per each of these syncs for the turns in the game. So how do we do this calculation? Well, we actually flip it on its head and do chance of a desync not occurring. So what we can do is, if I can think about this correctly, so we would do 1 minus that, okay, which is going to be our chance of success. Let's make this stable. There we go. 1 minus that, that's our chance of success. And then that's going to be raised to the power of the turns per game times the syncs per turn. And turns per game is also going to be, let's keep that on the same row. There we go. So with this very small chance of desync, we have a 90% chance of having a desync free game. Let's even make this lower. Let's go 0.05, right? Or even here, you know what? Let's be generous. Let's go 0.25. There we go. Very small chance of desync every single turn. With a 2-player game, we've got a 97% chance of a desync free game. Or if we want to invert that just for thinking about chance of desync happening, let's just do 1 minus, there you go. All right, so 2% chance of desyncing, 97% chance of not desyncing. And with Radman, we typically, like I said, we did 2-player games, 3-player games, maybe 4-player games, right? Let's drag that down. So even with a 4-player game, we've got an 86% chance of being successful, of not having a desync, right? And this is with this vanishingly small chance of desyncs per turn. But if we drag that all the way down to 8 players, you can see with this chance, we've got almost a 50-50 that we're going to get a desync with that kind of a game at 20 minutes. If the game lasts longer, let's say it's a 30-minute game, right? It takes longer for those FFAs to play out, right? 30-minute game, we have now a 64% chance almost of desyncing. We're more likely to desync than not. If we increase that to 40%, right? Now we have a 75% chance that we are actually going to desync. So, hopefully that shows with this, even with this very small chance of a desync happening on a per turn basis, and again, if you look at a 2-player game, we're still at 95% chance of success, 4% chance of desync, right? So the point is, Crownlink has enabled us to venture into these 5, 6, 7, and 8-player games, which is awesome, but it also dramatically increases the chance of desync. Now, this is an oversimplification because it's obviously not linear. It's specific things that happen. It's not like you have it's not like rolling a die whether you're going to desync or not. But hopefully it makes the point that the fact that we are playing bigger games is as much a correlating factor with the increase in desyncs as the fact that we're playing on Crownlink. Anyway, hope that helps. Thanks.